What's up, everybody? It's Glenn and Big Jack back with another Best Bets of the NFL Weekend video. This is going to be the Week 2 version of the 2024 season. Last week, found a way to start out 2-1. Loser on Monday night. That Jets Niners game went over the total, but I found two winners with Pittsburgh and New England. Sometimes you got to get ugly to get some W's. Jack, on the other hand, had a tough first week, but historically he's been super strong. He had a push on the Seattle Seahawks -6 versus the Denver Broncos and lost his other two picks, Cleveland and Washington. Jack, you ready to bounce back after that first week?
Absolutely, my man. Last year I started 0-3, so it was a little bit better,
So
but
you're in the
but
green,
yeah,
baby.
still a tough start to the season. Uh, to be honest, don't necessarily feel horrible about those picks. I mean, the Browns game was a disaster, but I'm okay with the results for this week one and all the things I'm keeping tabs on, and hopefully we'll be stronger in this week two and storming on throughout the rest of the course of the year. But great week for you. Sort of jinxed yourself with calling out the over
Yeah,
under
sure did.
merchant, but yeah, other than that, you dominated the board. The other two were no sweat, underdog outright winners, baby.
Yeah, it was a thing of beauty, to be honest. And yeah, you're right. I spoke it into existence. I spoke the jinx right into existence with talking about how I'm great at the over unders. I won't do that again. But that being said, you led off last week. I'm gonna go ahead and lead off this week with our picks. Last week, two ugly picks got the win. Not a lot of people going the New England Patriots against the Cincinnati Bengals. Not a lot of people going Pittsburgh Steelers at Atlanta. Two teams that just aren't very good offensively, going into teams that probably have their eyes on a division. I'm going with a team this week that looked terrible last week. Going up a team that clearly has their eyes on the Super Bowl. And I'm going to go the Cincinnati Bengals +5 at Kansas City. There's no way you could talk yourself into going the Cincinnati Bengals this week unless you just fully believe that it's a week to week league and that you got to throw out what happened last week and you got to understand that there's a chance that Cincinnati was looking ahead towards this week. They might have been thinking, "Oh, we got that. We could beat New England in our sleep." You can't do that in this league, but there's a chance that they bounce back this week. They got their eyes on the Chiefs. They're gonna play them tight. They're gonna play them close. Historically, they've played the Chiefs pretty good. I like the Bengals +5 at Kansas City this week, despite losing outright to one of the worst teams in the league last week in the New England Patriots. Give me Joey B. Give me Jamar Chase. Give me whoever they got. Cincinnati Bengals +5 at Kansas City Chiefs is my first pick of the week.
Love that pick. I'm not on it personally, but I love a lot of your logic regarding it. I do think you make a decent point about, maybe there was a little bit of a letdown spot looking ahead to this matchup with the Chiefs in week two. They've probably had their eyes on that. They've had that one circled for a while at Arrowhead. And maybe they just, you can get away with it in college. It happens all the time. You come off a big win.
Unless you're
You had a
Notre
little,
Dame.
yeah, exactly. But so truly though, in college, it's a thing.
Yeah.
You come off a big win, you sort of let down next week, but you kind of find a way to win, or maybe you're looking ahead to the next opponent. You have a tougher game that week before. It's pretty common, really. But in the NFL, you get exposed. So maybe there's a little bit of that going on. The only thing at all that concerns me with that pick is that Zach Taylor in his tenure is 1-10 in weeks one and two as the head coach of the Bengals. Even in these
They
years
start
that they've
slow.
got, even in the years that they've gone to the Super Bowl, they've gone to the AFC Championship. They're slow starters for one reason or another. That's the only piece of this that concerns me at all. But yeah, I do think that is. I think that that's a sharp play this week to be on the Bengals on that side of that one. I'm gonna
Honestly,
go.
honestly, a very valid point, Jack. and that's something that's very real. I think they're like, yeah, like you said, they're like 1-9, 1-10 in the last 5 years in the first couple weeks. That's a factor. I didn't really weigh in, but that being said, I still feel good about all the other factors playing into this. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people having the balls to take Cincinnati. I'm on Cincinnati. What's your first pick?
Yep, love it. I'll just go to kind of off of that same game you were mentioning. Patriots, I think a lot of people see value in them this week after they got that win. Now they're at home, plus 3.5 against a Seattle team that didn't look super great in that win against the Broncos. Broncos kind of had a backdoor cover, but a cover nonetheless. And I don't know. I just think Seattle's pretty damn good for whatever reason. Maybe I'll be proven to be wrong, but I think the Patriots are horrible. They found a win in week one. I wouldn't be surprised if they only get one or maybe two others the rest of the year. And I think that they are in for a little bit of a course correction at home this weekend. I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks again, minus 3.5 on the road. I think they go out there, take care of business. They had a couple fluky plays. I think they had two safeties in that Broncos game against them, which is, I don't know how many times that's ever happened. And I think they, shook off the rust a little bit. I think that offense will be humming, and that defense isn't going to let Jacoby Brissett do too much. The Bengals defense didn't really let the Patriots do too much. They just couldn't score. I think the Seahawks will be rearing, ready to go. Tough, always tough traveling across the country in that early slot, but I like them to roll into New England, take care of business, get out of there with about a touchdown win. So I'll lay the 3.5 rather.
This is definitely a game that I have my eyes on as well. I did not settle on them as one of my three picks, but if I were to make a pick this week on this game, it would absolutely be the Seattle Seahawks as well. It doesn't scare me going into Foxborough this year. The little bit you see on social media, the fans aren't really that into it because I think they know that they're not it this year. So I don't think going into Foxborough is going to mean what it has in the past. I like where your head's at. I like your pick. It's not one of my three best bets, but if I am going to make a bet on that game, it would be the Seattle Seahawks. My second pick of the week, getting right back in the gutter, right back in the sewer, right back in the septic system, going to the worst team in the fucking league, and we're taking them +6 versus the LA Chargers. The Chargers look pretty good up front. They got Harbaugh leading the way. Carolina looks so bad. Ain't nobody going to back them except this guy right here. The Carolina Panthers +6 versus the LA Chargers. They're at home. They're going to get some things going. They're going to find a way to cover that 6-point spread. Carolina Panthers, that's my second pick of the week.
I could dig it, man. When you started off that comment saying, I'm going where no one's going, absolute gutter, septic system, worst team in the league, I for sure thought you were taking the Packers at home against the Colts. Suckers! No, I don't think it's a bad pick. A lot of people liked Carolina last week. Obviously, they looked horrific.
Terrible.
But we'll see. 6 points is a lot at home, regardless of how bad you are. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm not touching that game myself. You're a braver man than me, but it worked out last week with you for the Patriots, and I feel like this game has a similar vibe to it. And who knows about the Chargers? Who knows what to believe with that team quite yet? I feel like the way that Harbaugh coaches, they don't really lend themselves to blow anybody out. So that's a lot of points. I'd be shocked if they didn't find a way to win the game, but yeah, I could see it being tighter than the books might expect. I am going to go to another team that I was on or that I was against last week, and I'm going to take the Broncos going against your boy Justin Fields, going against the Steelers. Steelers got a nice win in Atlanta, but they couldn't get the ball in the end zone. They scored 6 field goals. Their drives left a lot to be desired. That defense is humming, but I don't know how if it was that defense is going to be that great, or if it was a little bit of Kirk Cousins dealing with some rust, didn't look too comfortable moving in the pocket coming off that Achilles tear. I think that he and Atlanta still have a solid chance to get better over the course of the season. But I think that they, exposed an Atlanta team with a shaky Kirk Cousins early on here. And I don't think that the Steelers are very good. Anyone who's listened to us banter on these little segments over the course of time know my opinion of Justin Fields. I am not don't feel threatened by that offense at all with him under center. Would have been a cool game seeing Russ get back into Denver. I'm sure the crowd would have been letting him have it. I think Bo Nix is going to be a little more comfortable in his home debut than he was on the road. I think Sean Payton will have him coached up. I don't know. Just it seems like a lot of people are going to be down on Denver. It's the reason I picked against them last week is that I've said I don't think they're going to be that great of a team, but I like them to cover the 2.5 at home in a spot that seems like Steelers is a little bit of a layup, and I think it goes the other way. I wouldn't hate getting a little cheeky on the Broncos money line, but I'll take the 2.5.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me about this game is I think the Steelers defense is legit. I think they are really good. But that being said, I agree with your logic across most of your points. They look bad or not great last week, especially the rookie quarterbacks. They is it a bounce back spot versus Pittsburgh team traveling a mile high? Very well could be. I like your pick. All right, my third and final pick of the week is going to be the Tennessee Titans plus 3.5 versus the New York Jets. Um, Titans, how the fuck did they lose to the Bears? Bears didn't do anything. How the fuck did they lose that game? Will Levis isn't going to make those same egregious mistakes. Uh, I think the Tennessee defense is somewhat good. I think they find a way to play a really tight game at home versus the Jets. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to beat the Jets. Tennessee Titans plus 3.5 versus the Jets, who are coming off that Monday night loss to San Francisco Niners, where they kind of just got their ass beat. Like they kind of just got dominated. I could see it being a letdown spot. Do they walk in? They just think they're going to sleepwalk to a victory. I like the Tennessee Titans plus 3.5. I like Tennessee Titans plus right. I like the Tennessee Titans outright winners. Excuse me, but I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans plus 3.5. That's my third pick of the week.
Interesting. This is one that I am not on the Jets by any stretch, but I don't feel. I think if I was on the game, I probably would be on the Jets. Tough for me to back the Titans after what I just watched.
Sure.
Bears could not have played worse,
Yep.
and not only did they find a way to win the game, they covered.
Yep.
And I don't know. The Jets, we'll see. I feel like they're any New York team. Obviously the Cowboys. They get all this media love, and it's hard to really ever know what's true and not, and it's tough to sort through the narrative on those big market teams like that. But I don't know, man. I think the Jets could be and are going to be pretty damn good. I know week one did not look great, but that was a hungry 49ers team coming off a Super Bowl loss. Hearing a lot of talk about all these other teams, and how it's still the Chiefs and, maybe the 49ers are going to fall off and the Jets are one of these up and comers. I think they were ready to go. Jets clearly weren't. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the Jets are going to be better than they showed on Monday night. Hopefully, I'm wrong in the short term, and the Titans are able to take care of business. My third and final pick, I'm going to go to. It's funny how we're not on any of the same games, but they're all sort of tied together in a way. I'm going to go to the Minnesota Vikings and take them getting 6 at home against that 49ers team that just put a beat down on the Jets. Short week. You play Monday night. You got to travel across the country to Minnesota to play on Sunday at noon. Those are always tough spots in that short week coming off the win. They look great, but Christian McCaffrey's still probably going to be out from what I understand. It didn't make much of a difference on Monday night the way that Mason ran the ball, but he's still a weapon nonetheless, especially what he can do in the pass game for them. I think Brock Purdy made a lot of nice plays with his arms, but he missed some throws. I think that defense is going to get after him. Brian Flores is going to bring the funk. Sam Darnold going against his former team. He spent that year in San Francisco. Looked great in week one. It's going to be a much, much different test. But I like Kevin O'Connell. People probably don't realize that the last time these teams played, the Vikings did beat them in Minnesota. Vikings always play close games these past 2 years, man. They always do. That year that they went like 12-4 before it went to the 17-game season, like 8 of their wins were one score games. They set that record for those one possession wins. Kind of went the other way on them last year a little bit, but they're always competitive. I think they will be this week. It's a lot of points. San Francisco couldn't have looked better. I don't necessarily know if it's a letdown. I think they're going to respect their opponent. Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. They're not the type of team that typically will fall into that sort of trap. But I don't know. Something tells me that the Vikings are extremely competitive throughout the course of this year, much more so than a lot of people probably thought. And I think they are this week in particular.
I agree with your thoughts about Minnesota big picture. I think they're going to be a tough team for a lot of teams to deal with. I don't know if the 49ers are that team, but we'll see. All right. Quick recap. Jack's 3 picks. Seattle Seahawks -3.5 at New England. Denver Broncos +2.5 versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Minnesota Vikings +6 at home versus the San Francisco 49ers. My 3 picks, the Cincinnati Bengals +5 at Arrowhead. The Carolina Panthers +6 at home versus the Chargers. And the Tennessee Titans +3.5 at home versus the New York Jets. Those are the 6 picks of the week. Let's see if we can't put a little parlay together, get a few dimes for our bankroll. We'll see. Jack, any final thoughts for our fans out there?
2 weeks in a row, we're keeping it clean. No head to heads, no piggybacking the same play. So yeah, you can get your full parlay poppy going. But yeah, hopefully it's a bounce back week for me. You just keep doing your thing, keep building that momentum,
Just
and we'll
stack two
keep
and ones,
trying.
baby.
Yeah, just try to get those winners out there as the season moves along, and hopefully we'll be profitable, my man.
Oh yeah. All right. Hit it for him one time, Jack.
Bears.
If you're new, like and subscribe. We'll be back every week with best bet video.